Right, for Miranda Burnett going into this round. But AJ Masek at the moment with how it stands in qualifying, leading the way. Let's have a look then at qualifying and the lap times we are doing in this Subaru WRX STI Type S Cup car. It's a mouthful, but it's a great car to race in, especially at this track. Laguna Seca, always a great track to come to. Forward to this one for quite a while. Of course, last time out in the Indy cars at Road America, that was an absolute banger of a race. Sadly, couldn't be here tonight though. Skipped NASCAR to be here with the One Line Racing Center during the Community Cup race. Anthony Wen at the moment on the pole position on a 1:27.441. That's close, I think, to the lap times done in the pre-qualifying. That was a 26.8 at that time by Anthony Wen. So still some time to find, but Anthony Wen on a 27.4 is already, I think, good for at least the top 5 position here. Subaru WRX is not the car that you see being raced very often anymore, sadly. They sound amazing though. It is Justin Taylor who's in second at the moment, just a tenth off, just under a tenth off of Anthony Wen. It's Joey Dom in third. I'm expecting Joey to do a little better where he is at the moment. He's about half a second off. I'm expecting that gap to close at least a little bit towards Anthony Wen, if not for Joey Dom to go ahead. Keep in mind, Joey Dom had quite a dominant spell halfway through the previous Community Cup. Of course, also keep in mind that next week on the Wednesday, we're back with the Harris Hill, of course, the championship that we run in cooperation with the Harris Hill Raceway. Make sure you don't miss out on that one. It's a championship that will run all year long, all the way through to December. Runs once a month, and it'll run on the upcoming Wednesday next week. So make sure you don't miss that one. As meanwhile, Anthony Wen has improved to a 27.1. Let's drop that benchmark even further. That's Justin Taylor stuck on a 27.5. For now, at least. Joey Dom looking for lap time too. Seems to be dusty from that camera angle in the desert here in Laguna Seca. Of course, no rain expected as always here. So a little bit further down the order, it is Cody Jump, qualified 7th for this event. Finds himself down in 10th at the moment, looking for an improvement on a 29.766. And Ishfaq Azam in 9th on a 29.2. That's just slightly behind Henningsen, who is in 8th on a 29.2 as well. Then we have a little bit of a gap to the 1:28.8 of Matt Haynes in 7th. Who himself is about 5/10 behind AJ Masek in 6th, who himself is extremely close, just 7/1000 of a second behind Justin Gravitt. Joey Dom 4/10 ahead of that in P4, as Justin Gravitt, saying that, jumps up into 3rd, 27.8 for Justin Gravitt. Good lap time. Only just under 3.5 tenths behind Justin Taylor, who is doing extremely well. Of course, only qualified 5th as a 5th seat for this race. Is keeping Anthony Wen quite honest at the front at the moment. 4/10 of a second, the gap only. We'll be looking to improve that even further. Meanwhile, drivers behind will be looking to do the same though, so he has to watch out. He's going to drop back through the field. Has to be wary of that. Of course, this track hosts of one of the best corners, if not the best corner in motorsports. Of course, the corkscrew here at Laguna Seca. Such a well-known corner all over the world in many different as Jack Dennison looks for an improvement. Needs only 89 thousandths of a second to go up and go past Justin Gravitt. Or, excuse me. Yeah, indeed, Justin Gravitt. For a moment that I got that crossed up with Justin Taylor. Oh, as AJ Masick jumps to third for a moment, because Joey Dom also improves. It's getting quite close now behind Anthony Wen. The only one with a big gap so far, as everyone else behind him is improving. Looks like Anthony put that gauntlet down quite early on in this session and is quite happy with it. Seems to be a good banker lap here. Can look to get absolutely every last single thousandth out of the lap now. Seems like drivers are struggling to get close to that, as it is Justin Taylor going to a 27.444 now behind Anthony Wen. Here is Anthony Wen through the corkscrew with a beautiful camera angle, that is. Of course, it's coach and broadcaster Donny on the production. Donny, who once again qualified first for this week's Community Cup. Of course, Donny as a staff member at the One Line Racing Centre as a coach. Not allowed to take part in the Community Cups, but if you want some coaching, of course, Donny is always up for that. And there's no better way than to learn from the best in the business. It's not the first time he's qualified first for a Community Cup and is not allowed to take part, and it certainly won't be the last one either. As we look at Cody jump, just 1,000th of a second behind Matt Haynes. Those two extremely close together. But also look, from third on down to Jack Dedison, 127.9 to a 127.63 tenths. Covers P3 to P6. That's nigh on nothing. As Matt Haynes has a D behind his name. Is that for a drive-through, or is that indicating that he's in the pits? I'm expecting a P to pop up behind their name, if they are. Oh, okay. Well, just got note that the D means disconnect. But luckily, I also got note with that Matt Haynes is trying to reconnect, so that is possible at least. But that is valuable track time missed for Matt Haynes. So I think he'll be one of the drivers that'll be looking to climb up the order in the race. Qualifying will be short for him. We'll need to do an outlap, get those tires up to temperature. It'll be a tricky race for Matt Haynes, having to come from P7. I think there's more in there, especially for Matt. But with that disconnect, doesn't help. Luckily can reconnect though, so that's a good thing. Justin Gravitt here, P5. Talked about that earlier, he was doing so well. Oh no, that's Justin Taylor talking about, of course. Justin Gravitt also doing an amazing job though. Qualified or pre-qualified for this event in P8, finds himself in P5. So is Justin Taylor, qualified, pre-qualifying in P5, finds himself in P2 for the actual qualifying. Is learning throughout this session, it seems like, too, because he's brought that benchmark down to a 27.209. What can he do towards Anthony Wen? Is only 71 thousandths of a second off, 700ths of a second behind Anthony Wen, and that's much closer than he was in the pre-qualifying. So Justin Taylor looks like a real competitor here to Anthony Wen. Anthony, who's been dominating for quite a while now, was dominating when I came in. I think just under a year ago now. Anthony Wen is still dominating. However, he has had different drivers now challenging him. As Justin Taylor looks for another improvement. There is Anthony Wen. He has started what looks like is his second to last lap. If he's quick, he has one more in it. Drivers behind that though won't. It seems like Anthony Wen has timed this perfectly to be the last one on the track. He has full control of this qualifying session, will be last across the line. if things stay as they are, and is currently first in this qualifying session, is on the provisional pole already. I don't think Justin Taylor was able to improve his time and get closer to that benchmark of Anthony Wen. Of course, has one more lap left. What can Anthony Wen do in this lap is my question. Cutting it quite short through the corkscrew. That might be track limit for Anthony Wen. So watch out for that. With only 20 seconds left as he turns back onto the start-finish straight. Looks like the driver behind him could well get across the line too. With just a couple of seconds to go. Yeah, it looks like that will just about be the case. So won't be the last on track, but one of the last on track. Anthony Wen improves the gauntlet to 1:26.966, and that is close to the time he did in pre-qualifying too. We're getting close to the optimal lap time now, as the benchmark has been moved even further away now for Justin Taylor, as he's coming through to finish his final lap. There's always the opportunity for Anthony Wen to react to whatever Justin Taylor does now. Across the line for Justin Taylor. Can he find some time? The answer to that question is a resounding no. 27.209 is where Justin Taylor gets stuck on. Still though, 4/10 ahead of Joey Dom. Justin Gravet in P4, Jack Dennison. The 4Js from 2nd to 5th. As due to some technical issues, we're going to have to manually grid the cars. Therefore, we'll leave you with the season standings as it looks here after qualifying. We've still got Anthony Wen though to come through, so hang on just a moment with us. Anthony Wen is already on the pole. Can he improve his benchmark even further and dominate the field? Yes, he can. Of course he can. Of course Anthony Wen can do it. 1:26.744. We thought for a moment it was going to be close with Justin Taylor, but that gauntlet improved even further by Anthony Wen, and that is quicker than any time we've seen in the pre-qualifying too. Donny, eat your heart out. He's just beaten your lap time. We'll leave you with the Community Cup Championship standings for Series 2025 while we manually grid the cars. So, as I always say, get your popcorn out, fill up your drinks, and we'll be right back with the grid for the Subaru WRX STI Type S Cup car race at Laguna Seca. All right then, here we go. We've manually gridded the cars. We've got 4 minutes extra of racing. It seems like 34 minutes of racing. We await the 5 red lights, or the 6 red lights as we are used to, at the front of the grid. Before we get this race underway here at Laguna Seca. Oh, 33 minutes. Already a minute gone. Instead of waiting, it's a long wait until those 6 red lights get on. Drivers are must be getting impatient in the car. Oh, okay. Just gotten the word that we still have 3 minutes until the go. Gives me some time to talk about this beautiful circuit. And I can tell you that this track broke ground in 1957 and was opened on that same year, the 9th of November 1957, which is to this date 67 years ago. Great month, November. And of course, this track, formerly known as the Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, from 2002 to 2017, but to this date it's more formally known as the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. And the construction of this track alone, construction costs building all the construction around the place was $1.5 million US. So a hefty bill for the Monterey County, who are the owners of the track. And of course events like the IndyCar Series, the IMSA Sports Car Championship, Motor America, and Monterey Motorsports Reunion, all events that take place here at this beautiful track. 11 corners in total then. Of course we have the Andretti hairpin, which is the corner we will all be heading towards. Now we have the Rail Straight, of course the corkscrew, Riley Curve, and of course turn 11, that tight left-hander back on to the start-finish straight. Total length of 2.238 miles, which for our European viewers and me is 3.602 kilometers. At length, and of course lap record here of a 1:08.4168 by Alex Palou in 2023 during the IndyCar finale here, which Alex Palou became a first-time world champion. As we have the 6 red lights out and we're underway here at Laguna Seca. Anthony Wen gets a good start. It's 10 a.m. and 10 Subarus, WRX STIs hurtle down towards the first corner. No sign of civilization anywhere close in the desert. That means the rumble of these cars, not restricted at all. As Anthony Wen makes his way around the final corner, coming out of there first, it's Justin Taylor who's defending from Joey Dom. Joey Dom looking to get up the order immediately and get back up to his rival, Anthony Wen. Justin Taylor, though, doing well to hold him off. Joey Dom then in third, Jack Dennison in P4, Justin Gravitt in fifth, 4 J's from second to fifth again. As I think the sun is doing some funky stuff with our onboard cameras there, that section of the track. Joey Dom in the yellow car. This is lovely though. Just one solid color on all cars. Therefore I don't always have to look in the timing tower. I just know who's who by recognizing the colors on the cars. For example, Justin Taylor in the orange car, then of course Joey Dom in the yellow one, Justin Gravitt in the green one, and it's AJ Masek in the pink, or the purple one, sorry. I think it's Jack Dennison in the green one, and of course Anthony went at the front of the field in the red Subaru. Down to the turn one for the second time here. And Justin Taylor is just eating into that lead of Anthony Wen as it stands. Slowly but surely getting more and more comfortable, as we've seen so many times. Putting in one quick lap is one thing, but doing that twice in a row, 3, 4, 5 times in a row is something completely different. Anthony Wen has been struggling in the races. He's been the most consistent drivers here. So there are definitely chances though, even though Justin Taylor was about 5/6 tenths even off of Anthony Wen in qualifying. There are for sure chances here. Joey Dom also sticking with that lead pack. Jack Dennison also getting closer. We're all still within a second of each other in the top 6. That's boding well for this race. Through the final corner, a better run through there for Joey Dom. It's a better run onto the straight as well. We'll benefit from that run all the way down the straight. Slipstream will be working its effect too. Wen's looking to stretch that gap out, eke that gap out at the front of the field. Gap is 5 tenths as it stands, but a little deep into turn 5 there for Joey Dom, who's got past Taylor now. Let's see what Dom can do here. Can he get up to the back of Anthony Wen? That corkscrew kicking up dust is Justin Taylor, who seems to be struggling a slight bit now. Race is settling down, drivers are finding their pace. That is where Justin Taylor is seeming to lack a little bit now. Looked quite quick in the opening phases of this race. None of that seemingly continuing for now. Look a little bit further back, Justin Gravitt, who's behind Jack Dennison, AJ Masek in 6th. Also only 6 tenths behind Justin Gravitt. Trio of cars, nose to tail, can throw a blanket over Dennison and Gravitt as Gravitt tries to go for the move on the inside of 5 on Dennison. Almost makes contact with the blue Subaru ahead. That's the only original Subaru. Subaru's supposed to be blue and nothing else. Period. The blue Subaru is the only color you should get a Subaru in. Else you should be arrested, in my opinion. But for tonight though, it's okay. Justin Gravitt. Still only 2/10s back on Jack Dennison. As we look, nose cam now with Justin Gravitt. We just saw in that gearbox cam of Jack Dennison, just took a little bit of the outside sand with him. That happens easily on this track. It's going to happen plenty more times, even in this race. Because in a lot of places, there isn't much space. There isn't much runoff. So as soon as something does go wrong, you're off. And you're eating sand. And the driver behind you is eating your dust, as Tom Kernell would say. AJ Masek is not eating Justin Gravitt's dust. He says, Justin, I've had enough of this now. I'm going to get past you. Justin says, not quite that easy. I'm going to try and get back past you into 5. Tries to get the cut back once again. That worked coming out of 4 for him. It doesn't quite work coming out of 1. You never try a move going into 6, do you? No, for sure not. You're putting yourself on the penalty spot. If you put yourself on the outside there, then you never go for a move on the inside. Because that's just a penalty waiting for you. Oh no! AJ Masek, a hard left coming out of the corkscrew. And that's not where you're supposed to go. AJ Masek, from fighting for 4th place, drops all the way down to the tail end of the field. And finds himself in P10 with a lot of work to do now. And that's as easy as it can be to end your race in tears. AJ Masek, with a lot of work to do now, has to climb back up the ranks. Ishvakazam is the first one on his list. He's 2 seconds back of Ishvak, and all these drivers, in terms of time, are quite close together. He'll have to try and get those tires back into a working window. They'll have overheated. Hopefully for him, they won't have flat spots. AJ Masek losing loads of time there, dropping from P5 to P10. That seems his podium chances over and done with. Does promote a couple of drivers. Matt Haynes at the 6th. Henningsen in 7th, Jump in 8th. And of course, Ishvakazam in 9th. Meanwhile, the gap at the front of the field, still just about under a second between Tom and Wen. Red Subaru still ahead of the yellow Subaru from Joey Dom. Anthony Wen trying to eke out that gap. As Justin Taylor is slowly but surely hanging on to Joey Dom. Dennison, 2.9 seconds back of Taylor now. Massive 5.2 second gap back to Justin Gravitt. I'm in 9th. He's about 8/10s back as the sun plays some tricks with our camera again. Going up through 5. AJ Masek slowly but surely closing up that gap towards Ishvakazam. Gap was 2 seconds, it's now 1.1. we're surely eating into that gap. But we're 10 minutes down of this 30-minute race already. Oh boy, only 10 minutes. It's like we've had an hour of action already in those 10 minutes. We've still got twice that length to go. Anthony Wen's completed just over 7 laps now of this glorious 2.2 mile circuit located in Monterey County, California. If you do have a chance to go by for a local race or something, please do so, because, and please do go and have a look at the corkscrew. It's so much steeper than you think it is from the simulator. AJ Masick now on the back of Ishvakazam into the corkscrew. Surely not. He's setting up a move into the corkscrew though. Ishvakazam's going to be under attack. Is this going to be the pass for AJ Masick? It isn't. Ishvakazam sees him coming, but just having a look is enough to unsettle the green Subaru. And AJ Masick putting the pressure on Ishvakazam. Cody Jump in 8th, 1.5 seconds behind Brian Henningsen. AJ Masick still hasn't found his way past Ishvakazam. Remember, Ishvakazam was someone who could also challenge for the top 5. So it's not like Ishvakazam is a slouch here either. Like I said at the start of 2025, the level here in the Community Cup has for sure gone up throughout the field. To no discredit, of course, of the drivers who were driving in the Community Cup before, the times just seem to have gotten a little closer. Drivers improving too, who've been with us for quite a while. As AJ Masick puts him a pass in the 6th, 2 into 1 doesn't go here, and that's the case now too. Ishvakazam finds that out the hard way. When you're on the outside there, you have to bide your time. Ishvakazam didn't, and he found out the hard way that 2 into 1 doesn't go. As AJ Masick picks up another place. Brian Henningsen, who was doing so well in 7th, finds himself now down in P10, tail end of the field. Made a mistake coming out of the corkscrew. And AJ Masick gets that position for free. There won't be many passes that he will make as easy as that one. And Cody Jump now, where he qualified during the pre-qualifying as well, will look to keep AJ Masick behind. AJ Masick qualified as our 4th seat for tonight. Jack Dennison, who is in 4th, qualified as our 3rd seat. The odd one out there really is Justin Taylor, who's keeping that gap at around 2.5 to 3 seconds to Joey Dom, who now has got just over a second of a gap to Anthony Wen. And that gap ever growing. Of course, the curse for the commentator is as soon as you say that, the driver does the exact opposite. Now that I said the gap is ever growing, the gap is coming down, of course, between Anthony Wen and Joey Dom. Although I don't mind it, because I would love a good battle for this lead here. Anthony Wen, a driver that, when I came in a year ago now, was a driver that, well, let's put it like this, was inconsistent. Could put down a very, very extremely quick lap time, but in the race would struggle to keep it clean. And I think that's one of the points where Anthony Wynn has improved extremely. Anthony Wynn now able to put in those lap times he puts in qualifying constantly. But of course, there are still those tiny micro mistakes that everyone will have except Max Verstappen. But any normal human being will have those micro mistakes throughout the race. And it takes a perfect race to beat Anthony Wynn. And itself already is, I think, a pat on the back for Anthony Wynn. It's what it will take for Joey Dom to beat Anthony Wynn. Justin Taylor in P5 will also try to make his way through. As we are over halfway now in this race, 13 minutes and counting to go. AJ Masick now on the back of Cody Jump. We look back from Matt Haynes' car. No, we look back from Cody Jump's car to the front of AJ Masick's purple Subaru. For sure, a very bright color scheme that we're on board with. As Cody Jump is in the pink Subaru. Looks lovely though. I don't mind it. Gap is 0.5 of a second. Cody will look to stay here. But he himself, I think, has also gained some time on Matt Haynes. Cody Jump, where did you go? Oh no, Cody Jump with a mistake, and that drops him to 9th. AJ Masick now up at the 7th. We'll look to hunt down Matt Haynes here too. Gap has grown to just over a second now. But AJ Masick coming back after that mistake he had. He'll be right behind Justin Gravage, who was just ahead of before he made that mistake. So he lost about 10 seconds with it. And through the traffic as well, or well, traffic. Just trying to get back up the field. Drivers that are not quite on AJ Masick's pace yet. Some time with that too. But AJ Masick for sure having a great comeback drive. Well done. We're soon entering the last 10 minutes of this race, and this is where this race will get really interesting. Especially if Joey Dom keeps gaining out on Anthony Wynn. These two really have been driving the same lap times for quite a while now. It's been a tricky race for Anthony Wynn. He's been kept honest for at least 95% of this race up until now. Has not been able to relax at all. As we see, stay on board with Joey Dom, and we'll see his lap time. Last time round, 27.2. I thought that was a great lap time already. And indeed it was for Joey Dom. Uses all the entry to turn 1 as we look with AJ Masick going into the last corner. Will he have a look up the inside of Matt Haynes? No, he won't. He'll think the better of it. He'll take this long run into turn 1, into Andretti hairpin, as his run, his call-in for P6, getting back to within 1 position of where he was before his mistake in the corkscrew. But it for sure wasn't straightforward to get back through the field for AJ Masick. Did get 2 positions for free. Keep in mind, Cody Jump and Henningsen both had their incidents. To gift AJ Masick that free position, as AJ Masick has now made his way past Matt Haynes. Obviously that happened while I was looking at our drivers list. But AJ Masick up at the 6th. And 11 seconds is the gap now to Justin Gravitt. I think that's way too far for him to close down without a mistake from the driver in P5, Justin Gravitt, who himself is 6.5 seconds back on Jack Dennison, who himself is 5.9 seconds back of Justin Taylor. And Justin Taylor 4.3 seconds back on the battle for the lead. Nonetheless though, a good race for Justin Taylor. First time I see him race with the One Line Racing Center under my commentary, and what a race it's been for Justin Taylor. And it isn't over yet. If these two get into a kerfuffle with each other, Justin is there to pick up the pieces. So if Joey Dom tries anything crazy on Anthony Wen and they both get in trouble, Taylor could well be the one to take everything away from both of them. So he also has to keep pushing. Anthony Wen opening up that gap just a little, but mostly just keeping the gap stagnant at about a second to 1.5 seconds. Been below a second for a lap or 2 now, I think. But Anthony Wen seems like he's not really bothered by it, as long as the gap is about 4+ tenths of a second. He knows Joey Dom can't really do anything. Right then, 6 minutes left in this race. The spectators around the track have got an awesome race from these 10 drivers. A race that had, well, basically everything. Mistakes, comebacks, majestic drives at the front, close racing at the front, equal racing at the front. Because Joey Dom and Anthony Wen, their lap times have been very similar lately. You can see where Anthony Wen is making the difference now. He is constantly pumping in those 27.2s, while Joey Dom sometimes puts down a 27.2, but mostly is in the 27 mids, 27.5 to 27.4. That's where he usually is. So that's why Anthony Wen is slowly but surely opening up that gap again. 27.379. What did Joey Dom do behind that? I don't know if we can switch to Joey Dom. See his lap time. There you go. 27.513. Another 10.5 lost by Joey Dom. And although it doesn't seem much over the laps, this keeps adding up. That's where that 1.1 second gap comes from again, because remember, that gap was down at just 0.6 of a second. So over the last 3 laps, they're half a second added to that gap by Anthony Wen. However, you have also seen that if Joey Dom puts down a good lap, he can, within a lap, half that gap. So this race for sure isn't over yet, but Anthony Wen working hard, being consistent, and with that, slowly but surely opening up the gap between him and Joey Dom. The hill, these cars reaching about 193 kilometers an hour. There is Joey Dom again. I told you, gap was up at 1.2 seconds. Gap's come down again. Final corner now to go for Joey Dom. Can he gain any further? It looks like he can. Another 3/10 gained. So, Anthony Wen, bottom right of your screen. It's a 27.5. What did Joey Dom do? 27.295. I told you, this is exactly what's been happening so far this race. Joey Dom has 1 or 2 laps that are great, and then after that, the gap opens back up again. It's ebbing and flowing that gap quite a lot. But Joey Dom gains 3/10 back on Anthony Wen, and a massive 3/10. Has about 3 laps to go from now to close that gap back down and put himself in with an opportunity to take what will be one of his hardest fought victories of the year already. This win for sure didn't come easy. And he had to fight for it. So did Anthony Wen though. But Anthony Wen has been in the controlling position for all of this race. Has been setting the pace. Joey Dom has just had to follow it. Has been able to do so for many laps, has been able to go quicker for some laps, but also has gone slower for quite a couple of them. That's where the gap is coming from, 27.4 and 27.494. Was that an identical lap time by the both of them? 27.494 for Joey Dom. 27.416 for Anthony Wen. I thought for a second that both of them had done the exact same lap time. Don't ask me why, because those lap times look completely different, at least the last 2 decimals. But Joey Dom keeping the gap at least the same, and that's what you need to do. Keep the pressure on Anthony Wen. That's where Anthony Wen has cracked in the past. If he puts down another 27.2 here, the pressure will be immense going on to the last lap for Anthony Wen. You normally see for drivers in a controlling position like Anthony Wen's been for the entirety of this race is that, especially on the last laps, the last 2 or the last lap, they will take it a little easier just to make sure that they can bring the car home in one piece, take that victory that they also deserve of being controlling for that whole race. However, Joey Dom is putting himself in a position where that is just not possible for Anthony Wen. Gap down to 0.5 of a second going into turn 11 for the second to last time. A white flag in the air this time round for Anthony Wen. 0.6 is the gap. Joey Dom seems like a little too late. 27.0 for Joey Dom, reacting to a 27.3 for Anthony Wen, but I think it's just too little, too late for Joey Dom. He will try and put everything on this last lap. He has the room to make a small mistake behind. But Anthony Wen has been in control for the entirety of this race. And to be quite frank, it doesn't look like he's going to lose that control anytime soon, even though Joey Dom's gaining. This has been Anthony Wen's race to lose. And also on this last lap, he's keeping that gap somewhat similar. And he's not giving Joey Dom a chance to even have a sniff at P1. He's been trying to get there for quite a while now. One last time through the corkscrew for Anthony Wen. There's no taking it easy. Joey Dom gained about a tenth through there. But I think it's all too little too late because it's 2 more corners to round off for Anthony Wen. 3/10 is the gap. Oh, Joey Dom just too little too late. Had to do too much. Faking it to the inside onto Anthony Wen. But Anthony Wen won't be bothered by it and will take a dominant victory here. Has been dominant from start to finish. Hasn't been challenged really by Joey Dom. He kept him honest, but couldn't have a sniff. He will take P2 every day of the week behind Anthony Wen, especially after the race we've just had. Only a second and a half, even less than that behind Anthony Wen. Justin Taylor finishing in P3. Jack Dennison in P4 and Justin Gravitt coming through in P5. The 4Js from 2nd to 5th. AJ Masick, great recovery drive. Will finish just 9 seconds behind. Justin Gravitt gained another 2-3 seconds back in the last 7 minutes of this race. But AJ Masick, his mistake undid him from what could have been a potential P5. P6, he'll be happy with that, where he was with 20 minutes to go in this race. Matt Haynes in 7th, ahead of Ishfaq Azam in 8th. Cody Jump in P9 will also look and think what could have been for Cody Jump if he didn't make that mistake coming out of the corkscrew. Same goes for Brian Henningsen. Well, that was Community Cup number 2 for you then. And before we go anywhere, I think we can have a look at what this has done to the standings. It wasn't live with the 3rd round added to it, but Anthony Wen, after this race, 50 points at the top of the championship. AJ Masick, though, after finishing 2nd twice, a disappointing race here for him today, only sees him in P2. Could have been a much better position going into round number 4 in 2 weeks' time for AJ Masick. Sadly for him, though, race ends in P6. Only 8 points, so for AJ Masick. Joey Dom then taking home 2nd place and 18 points, 1 point now behind AJ Masick. Then 27 points for Jack Dennison in 4th, Ishfaq Azam in 5th, Justin Taylor 6th, Ryan Collins 7th, Alex Oranza in 8th, Dax Brown in 9th, and Justin Gravitt in P10. That was Community Cup number 3 for you. Community Cup number 4 coming to you in 2 weeks' time for round number 4 of the Community Cup Championship Series 2025. But don't forget, upcoming Wednesday, we are back with the Harris Hill Raceway Championship. That will be the 14th of May 2025. We're back with the Harris Hill Raceway Championship here at the One Line Racing Center, our championship in collaboration with the Harris Hill Raceway. My name has been Dan Peebles. I'll see you on the 14th of May for the Harris Hill Raceway Championship. Until then, goodbye.